All right. Looks like everybody is in. Lisa, do you want to kick us off?
Yes. Welcome everyone to the 2023 Tri-University Research Administration Conference. I'm Lisa Allen, Associate Director for Research Advancement, Research Administration at College of Health Solutions at Arizona State University and co-chair of this year's conference.
And I'm Shauna McClellan, Manager for Training and Development and Sponsored Project Services at the University of Arizona and co-chair for this year's TURAC conference. We also wanted to say thank you to the committee members, volunteers, presenters, and countless other individuals who came together to help make this conference a reality.
This event could not happen without the effort and resources of each individual and institution who has provided support, and we are truly appreciative.
Arizona State University, Northern Arizona University, and the University of Arizona all acknowledge in slightly different ways that they occupy land and territories of Indigenous peoples. We've included each institution's land acknowledgement in each presentation throughout the conference for your education and awareness.
We're especially lucky to have members of Diné College joining us today to provide the conference welcome and present on the establishment and progress of the research administration infrastructure. So without further ado, we'll hand it off, the session off to you, to the session facilitator, Aaron Gills, a Senior Research Administrator from University of Arizona.
And just a reminder, everyone, sorry, Aaron, before we go, I put that out of order. Please enjoy the conference. Be sure to share your feedback through the session and conference surveys so that we may continue to grow and improve our offerings for the next conference. We hope that you'll consider volunteering your talents and time in the future conference offerings. And that is it, sorry.
Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items before we get started. As you saw, if you have any technical difficulties with Zoom, we provided a phone number for you to call. Also, feel free to private message me and I'll help you offline. We are recording today's session. We have enabled closed captioning, so if you would like to turn that on or off, you can do so at the bottom of your screen in your meeting controls. As Shauna mentioned, we are going to have an end of the session survey and an end of the meeting survey, so we welcome you to fill those out. This session will be about 40 to 50 minutes. It's going to be an open dialogue, so we invite you, if you have questions, to go ahead and unmute yourself. When you are not speaking, we want to remind you to keep your microphone muted. And also we invite you to turn off any extra applications such as chat or email so that you can be fully present. And now I'm going to hand it over to our speakers, Eva Begay, Andrea Christelle, Terra Lamotte-Harvey, and Gayla James.
Okay, thank you so much, Erin. My name is Andrea Christelle. I'm the Vice Provost for Research at Diné College, and we are in the Office of Na'aka Be'oniti, Research, Innovation, and Practice. And what we'd like to do today is introduce our team. There are 4 of us, so we want you to have a chance to meet everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about the distinctive considerations surrounding research at Diné College. And then the open dialogue portion, we'd like to give each staff member 10 minutes, just an opportunity to benefit from all of the amazing research administrators here, tell you what we're doing, tell you what our questions are. And we really hope to use this as an opportunity to build our network in the larger Arizona research administration community. So thank you very much to inviting Diné College to participate in this event for the first time ever. Okay, again, my name is Andrea Christelle. I'm the Vice Provost for Research at Diné College, and I have been in this position. It will be 1 year just in May. Everyone else on this team has been on the staff less than a year, and some of us less than 1 month. Okay, Eva, I'll turn it over to you. So Eve, I don't know if you're able to unmute yourself and just introduce yourself briefly. Okay, so what we're figuring out the technical side. Eve will also be presenting later, but it looks like maybe you've unmuted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. My name is Eva Begay, and I am the Director of Sponsor Project with Diné College. I've been here for 8 years. Prior to being the director, I was the grants accountant. And this is all a new position for me, but I've done a lot of grants accounting. So I'll turn it over to Terra.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Terra Lamotte-Harvey. I'm the pre-award coordinator, and my position is fairly new here at the college, and I've been in this position for at least a month. So, but yeah, it's nice to meet everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. I'll turn it over to Gayla now.
Good morning. My name is Gayla James. I'm the post-award coordinator, and I've been with the college about 2 months now, going into the program, and I am Navajo. I was always taught to introduce myself that way, to represent myself, my family. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that's online and for inviting Diné College.
Thank you, Gayla. And we do want to take this opportunity to announce that we do have a proposal developer position open. This is a completely remote position. So if you know anyone who might be interested in writing proposals and developing proposals for Diné College, please pass the word along. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it back over to Gayla again to talk a little bit about the Navajo cultural aspects of research at Diné College.
Good morning again, everyone. When we've come aboard, we've looked at developing the research office, providing a Navajo name. So what we've come across is the Na'alka Behunti. So translating that from the Navajo language into the English version, Na'alka is means the way of doing things. Our ancestors, would go and an example that was used by one of our professors, Mr. Rexley Jim, is Na'alka is the way of doing things. Long ago, we would do things through prayers, lifelong songs, storytelling. So those were the what we would fall back on in order to get things done. So that would be considered a systematic tracking, and the Behunti is looking into the future to explore, guiding, and all coming together to create a pathway. So overall, Na'alka Behunti is a tracking system that leads into the future. The guiding us into the pathway. Thank you.
Okay. And Terra, would you like to talk a little bit about the Diné educational philosophy?
Yes. So Sanaye Bekahujon is a word that is constantly used within the Diné culture, and it's used in ceremonies, songs, and prayers. In essence, it is a holistic principle guiding us to living a full and meaningful life. For short, we call it SNBH, so we don't have to say the whole thing all the time, but lately, we've been using this acronym. SNBH is the driving force that brings stability and knowledge and spirituality for a long life. The Diné education paradigm is something that we use here at the college. and it's a learning paradigm. It's planning. It's for planning, and it's a learning process which begins with insa'akis. On this slide, you'll see insa'akis, and that means thinking. Nahata means planning. Ina means living, and siyasin means reflecting on what we have just learned or things that we accomplished. And so at Diné College, we use this education paradigm in everything that we do. It is the core of continuously improving our programs that are rooted in cultural teachings. And so that's my brief explanation on those two principles. And we're integrating that into the research office in how faculty do their research here as well. So.
Great. Thank you, Terra. And so as we're sharing with folks today, I would like to provide a little bit of history. Diné College was founded as Navajo Community College in 1968. About 5 years, it transitioned to a four-year institution, and we are now becoming a research university, which is why this office has been stood up. And so, of course, we're building capacity in terms of things like faculty time to do research, the infrastructure of our office to provide research administration services, but also making space for these new knowledge frameworks that Gayla and Terra have shared with you. And so while our faculty will be conducting research using traditional Western frameworks, a big part of what we want to do is look for ways to encourage faculty to use Diné knowledge constructs, to use the language, and to bring cultural values to bear. So in this way, our office is building infrastructure in a truly unique way. What we'd like to use our remaining time for is to talk about research administration development. As you've heard, we've all been here for less than a year, and some of us for just a couple of months. And we know that there's a wealth of information and experience here. So I'll lead off this session talking about research development for 10 minutes. Then we'll spend 10 minutes on pre-award, 10 minutes on post-award. And then Eva Begay, our Director of Sponsor Projects, is going to focus on research administration software because we're in the midst of acquiring that and would love to get some input from all of you on key considerations in that area. And I know this is research administration, not research development per se, but these are all very closely linked. And so I'd like to use these 10 minutes, and I know Terra has my time, just to share with you some of the things that we're doing in terms of proposal development services and get feedback from you on how you think these might be enhanced or what you think other good strategies might be. Right now, we do our best to present relevant opportunities to faculty based on their interests. We have a monthly newsletter. Terra manages that and sends that out. We will also facilitate, we can't do this with every team, but sometimes we will facilitate ideation sessions to plan the proposal strategy and build the proposal team. We also provide support in terms of ghostwriting, graphic design, and other creative representations. And for the first time ever, we're offering summer seed grants for faculty. And so we hope that will give faculty time to conduct some research, but also really plan a research agenda. And so these are some basic things that we're doing in terms of proposal development, but we'd love to hear feedback now from folks that are listening about your ideas or suggestions in this area. So this is the open dialogue part, everybody.
Andrea, this is Tom Champagne from Northern Arizona University. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, hi, Tom.
Great, good to hear you. Thank you for your presentation opening this morning and your introduction to that and the kind of things you're doing. One of the things we always like to think about at our institution with regard to sort of proposal development, establishing strategies for research priorities within our institution is we really believe the voice of that faculty member is critical to us. And so we spend a lot of time in our research development activities ensuring that we have the voice of that faculty involved in all the things we do. Now, that can be driven from your research strategic planning processes that you have in play at Diné, some of the initial thoughts you might have around the strengths or the weaknesses or opportunities that your institution wants to address. But in addressing that frankly and transparently and inviting that faculty voice in as early as you possibly can to that planning, I think is a successful opportunity for you and something you may want to think about moving forward. Just a thought from here at NAU today.
Thank you so much for that, Tom. And that is actually in line with what we're doing. We have 4 schools at Diné College, and we're having a research agenda development session with each school to try and just doing that SWOT analysis and really asking them to think about, because we're a smaller institution, how do we want to invest strategically and how can we frame that around faculty interests? So thank you so much for that good reminder.
I just wanted to, I think it's wonderful. Thank you so much for this presentation. And I think that I had the opportunity to hear your session at the regional and Cura conference as well. And I think that your efforts to increase your collaborations with other research institutions is definitely one that's going in the right direction. I had the opportunity in my 18 years of research administration to connect with a lot of smaller colleges, and what they found was advantageous was going for those grant opportunities that were collaborative in nature, so that they could in fact have co-PIs and PIs from different institutions. So could you talk a little bit more about any of the collaborations that you might have going, your efforts in that area to actually collaborate with other institutions in your research efforts? Do you use, we have that digital footprint out there as far as SciVal and ways of connecting with other researchers that have similar research interests and those types of things. Have you utilized those resources?
So Diné College has had a number of collaborations with, the 3 Arizona universities here, and then especially New Mexico State University, but, Johns Hopkins and, a number of institutions. But collaborations are also always really helpful for us because, we have around 60 faculty members. So, we have a, limited capacity from that perspective. I will say with, collaborations, Diné College is increasingly interested in becoming the lead institution. I think that because we were founded as a community college and most recently, a 4-year institution, that research hasn't been a priority. But as that shifts, Diné College really wants to focus on being the prime institution when we can be, because I think that's really important to establish the intellectual leadership that can come from our faculty, and especially with consideration to some of the knowledge framework issues that we brought up early in the presentation. I mean, Diné College is a smaller institution on the one hand, but on the other hand, there is a way of thinking and a distinctive approach that is unique globally. Right. And so bringing that Diné perspective from the land, from Célie, which is very much a part of that perspective, right? Of course, there are Diné faculty practicing in institutions all over the US and all over the world, right? So we recognize that it's possible to do that research in a certain way, but as a culture, right, it is very place-based. And so we want to start to really focus on that. And I do want to offer a special word of thanks to the University of Arizona and to Lori Schultz, their Assistant Vice President for Research Intelligence, who has consulted with us and supported us, throughout this year of standing up the office, and worked with our Provost, Geraldine Garrity, to really establish, this whole position and office. And one of the things that she's advised us is typically Diné College has been the subrecipient, but she said, you should try to be the prime more often. And if there was a major piece of equipment or an acquisition, there's no reason that Diné College, right, couldn't have that equipment. So we're really trying to change like our own minds and how we're thinking about that, and getting our faculty to think about that differently. at the same time, collaborating with, R1s and AU is a tremendous opportunity, and we welcome those collaborations going forward.
Thank you.
Andrea, we have a question in the chat. If it's okay, I'll go ahead and read it for the recording. Okay, it's from Jen McCormick, and she says, thank you for a brilliant research presentation. In proposal development services, do you offer support for assessing unsuccessful submissions? For example, analyzing summary statements to aid in the resubmission process. She's just thinking strategically that resubmissions are often funded at higher rates than initial proposals and can be a great supportive process for research faculty.
So Jen McCormick, thank you for that great suggestion. We have not implemented that strategy at Diné College yet, but prior to Diné College, I was at the University of Texas at Austin in the Office of Vice President for Research, and I helped start there for the Good Systems program what we called a grants hospital. And we would take unsuccessful proposals because there is so much energy and enthusiasm around the proposal, and then you send it off, and then we always think like, oh, well, if that doesn't go through, we'll come back and rehabilitate it. But things move at such a fast pace, and by that time, the new RFA is out, and so I really want to thank you for that suggestion. We don't have anything formalized around that at Diné College yet, but we certainly should. So thank you.
Thank you.
This has been so great. This is just what I was hoping for, all these good ideas. And I really want to thank everyone for allowing us to use the time in this way. But at this time, I do want to pass the time along because I know that we have other folks here that want to get some feedback. So thank you all so very much. And Terra, I'll turn it over to you for pre-award.
Okay. So again, I am Terra Lamotte-Harvey. I'm the pre-award coordinator here at Diné College. Currently, I've been working on budget reviews. I mean, this position has just been so, like, I'm learning so much. It's actually really interesting, and I really enjoy the work. And so, budget reviews are coming up, budget preparation and guidance, kind of have to navigate that process, building budget narratives, and then also portal management. There's so much to learn and so much to gain access to, and I'm actually working on proposal submissions as well within this position. But what I really wanted to do today is I just wanted to see, who are the other pre-award coordinators out there? Can you guys give me a thumbs up? And I was really hoping just to ask some questions and to sort of get your input and feedback, especially to these other pre-award coordinators. The first question is, I'm really building these budgets from scratch, and, I'm just trying to find, our own kind of flow here at the college. And what I'm really wanting to know is, could you share some of your budget templates with me, and maybe just to see what you're working with, and maybe compare to, mine to yours. And, that might just be something interesting that we could review together. But I would really just, I'd really like to work with other pre-award coordinators as well. So thank you for this time that, you're giving us. And then another question is, how do you stay on top of all of your projects? If you guys have any advice on that, because I feel like right now I'm working on 8 different projects at once, and just, keeping, it's definitely time consuming, and any thoughts or ideas would be helpful moving forward as well.
Anybody in our audience want to give some best practices?
I'll kickstart off, and then others may want to chime in. Having oversight of a pre and post award, I can say one of the best practices that we have in pre-award is having a shared drive and trying to keep organized, having a shared drive for each proposal. Oftentimes, PIs want to circumvent that though, and, send things through email, documents through emails, but we do have a pretty robust intake form. But aside from that, as a part of intake form, we create a shared drive where the working documents can be uploaded. Okay. So there's no need to go back and forth and email with that. Then you can start your preliminary review of those documents. And then there's also a budget section where there's a template for PIs to start kind of playing around with some of the line items that they may want to have in their budget. Obviously, we definitely will be willing to share that as well. But also the final documents, that's where it really gets nice, because those documents are finalized, and when you're working on multiple projects, there's low risk of transferring one PI's document to another project. And we know in those last minute rushes, anything can happen. So I think a shared drive is definitely a best practice rather than getting out of emails or documents.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you for that.
I'll
Go
just
ahead,
contribute.
Mary.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mary.
Thank you. I think one of the biggest things that you'll benefit from is training your PIs on the front end. I have this saying that faculty are brilliant toddlers, right? So you have to train them for what's expected for them, especially since you're starting this from the ground in many ways. So if you train them up on the front end, that will alleviate so many of your headaches. Like Lisa was just sharing about how they like the email back and forth, like, oh, you didn't see me. I was like, oh my God, yes, that's what they do, right? So if you set the expectation where if you have Google or some type of Microsoft Teams shared for everyone at the college has access to, train them on the front end saying this is the expectation moving forward with research development at our campus. And then when they're not following the process, because they probably won't, just remind them like, oh no, this is the process. Like if you can outline it completely, if you can do work instructions, job aids for them, that will make your life so much easier. I can't read enough of the importance of training faculty of expectations of their role in the process.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary. I think this is very helpful. I'm writing it down.
Absolutely, anytime.
Erin?
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to say there are some tools and strategies for handling, workflow. You said you had 8 projects going at once. So there are some tools out there, and one of the ones I use is Trello, and it's a card-based workflow tool that I use to organize all of my proposals that are going at once, and it just helps me manage, what stage each project is in at any given time, because as you know, we can lose track of that. So also, you have floods probably of emails coming in for 8 different projects. So being able to sequester those emails into project-based folders, I find to be extremely helpful as well to keep everything organized.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you, Trello, I am not sure, I'm not familiar with that. Can you put that in the chat for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Trello, okay. Any other comments, suggestions? I'll go ahead and, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, when you get their proposals coming in, how many do you have on your pre-award team again?
Just one.
Just yourself? Okay.
Just myself,
right.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I know the feeling all too well when I was in my former position and I was pretty much the college level research administrator and everything pretty much came through. Keeping a really nice spreadsheet, of course, is helpful, so that you can, one of the things that we like to do in our spreadsheet, we have 3 pre-award folks. And when those intakes come in for those proposals, they will log every intake, every proposal in on that sheet. But also rating the complexity of those proposals from like a 1 to 5, so that you can kind of prioritize based on the amount of effort that you're going to need to expend for each of those proposals is a good thing. When you're, I don't know if you have a proposal window for PIs to submit that or some type of proposal policy. We requested they have all their final documents to us 7 days prior to the deadline. Of course, we want them to work well in advance of that. So on our one of the things we do, as was Mary had mentioned earlier, was managing expectations and saying up front, we really like to see, as soon as you're going to submit a proposal, let us know right away. But that 30 to 60 days prior to deadline is really the sweet spot for us, because that gives you enough time, that gives us enough time to plan those types of things. So I would suggest, if you don't have some type of policy in place, thinking about that, because those last minute proposals, we know, kind of try to bump others out the way, and we want to be fair to our researchers. So just a couple of more items, food for thought in that area.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate that. I think we're okay to move on. Are you okay, Andrea? Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we want to move on to a post award and Gayla Jane.
Okay, good morning again. I, again, have been in the position at least 2 months now. And again, just like Terra said, and Andrea, we're all learning as we go. And, there's times that, we try to make, I try to make my responsibilities, fun and reaching out to the PIs and meeting them and getting to know them. The part I really enjoy is the project initiation and the setup, where I reach out to the PIs and work with them to get their budgets aligned with their awards, their pre-award budgets, and learning the guidelines from all the different grants as well. So that has been, very, very learning process. I've also helped the PIs, prepare for their financial and technical supports, their monthly reconciliations. But I'm working toward a project closeout. There will be one coming up, which I've have not done one, but I'm looking forward to. So right now, the things, that I've developed with our junior grant accountant and vice provost is, the checklist. So as we move along, we've noticed that, there are things, the procedures and processes that need to be in place, and just to help guide the PIs and the process. A lot of it's working with our finance team. We also have internal policies that we need to look at and reflect on. So those are the things that I've been working with, and it is a lot at times, but just trying to make it exciting. And of course, when you're developing something and going into it, you try to make it as exciting as you want it to be. So some of the PIs are very knowledgeable as well with their grants, and learning from one another, and then going back and have to research some of the forms, the reportings, the deadlines, all of that is just it's good. I like it. I'm enjoying it. And then really our main focus is going forward is to do the monthly reconciliations. Just making sure that all the requests has made through the process. making sure invoices have been paid, there's no outstanding, drawdowns have been done with our finance team. And, just doing the tracking system, from the initial award letter to the project closeout. So a lot of times I think the important part of it is the performance period, making sure that the funds are being utilized within the performance period, and just mainly focusing on the deadline of when the grant award. So, but I too have several questions for post-award coordinators or post-award functions. I guess for everyone, what are some post-award functions to focus on? I guess that's something that I really, need more guidance in. How does your program manage reporting to sponsors? And then what are some focus points in closing out an award? Just like I said, I'm going to be working toward one of those, and I would like to close out on time and make sure all the reports are submitted. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tammy Brown, and I'm with the College of Optical Sciences at the University of Arizona. My input is kind of just a broad-based way of managing the projects from a pre and post-award function. A lot of times they're more interested in receiving the grant, and we read through the RFP or BAA as soon as they come out, and we table it. But so much of the information that you need post-award is in that initial announcement or request. So what I try and do is cull out from the actual BAA, what are the deliverables, when are the reports due, and then sit down with the PIs and go over that information, developing a table using an Excel spreadsheet to work closely with them. In addition to with pre-award. So it's almost like a simultaneous process. So if you and your pre-award coordinator can work together to develop like an outline of what the monthly deliverables are, and educating your PI on that, what the reporting requirements are, closeout dates, and what the general expectations are of the sponsor. And that's been helpful over many years.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure if you're planning to join the session on Thursday at 10 o'clock. Me and my co-presenter will be discussing one of our tools that we use in our college. It's actually exactly what you mentioned, what we call a pre to post award kickoff type of meeting. But during that meeting, we actually have a very comprehensive document that we share with the PIs, and we actually get them to sign off on it. But we go over everything, pre-award type of issues, where it be we go over the agreement, okay, and then we break that off in the easily digestible parts for the PI in that document. Cover everything, if there's export control, if there's what the deliverables are, how do you make purchases, here's a link to make the purchase, how do you hire, here's a link to make the hire. So I would invite you to attend that session because if people don't have any type of tool of that nature, it's any holiday you celebrate is going to come early, because we're going to share that tool and make that available, and you can customize that for your own needs. But yes, it definitely will break it down. And we tell the PIs to hold on to this, because if they just keep that document through the life cycle of their grant, they won't have to go hunting for anything. As we know, decreasing that administrative burden is one of the best things that we can do for them, so they can focus on their research, focus on their science. And a lot of them say that really helps them. That lessens a lot of their frustration, because they're not digging for information.
Thank you, Lisa. And yes, I'm definitely registered for that.
Excellent. Do you currently, just a question, do you currently have any type of resources online for the PIs as far as processes that are currently out there? You know, like I said, this document helps, but we have an intranet site where PIs, and not just the PIs, because a lot of it involves not just educating the PIs, but educating any of their project coordinators or students that may be working on their project. Do you have anything, what kind of guidance, any type of guidance, or is it mainly one-on-one sit-down type of communications? Or is there anything out there on the internet?
The Office of Research Nationalkampfhund recently developed a website within the college. Right now we are again developing the forms and the checklists. So we're able to put it on there. But right now it's a lot of one-on-one. Some of the PIs prefer, you know, the one-on-one. So right now that's what I'm working with, and but we do plan to put it out there. We did have several trainings so far. Like one of them was a debarment, and the other one was just, you know, our internal process for submitting RQs, utilizing the grant awards.
Excellent.
And so I can hop in on that too. So our website just went live about 2 weeks ago, and it's very aspirational at this point. We talk about our services, and there are slots where we hope to update in the future, but you know, we don't have a lot online available right now. We are working on that. And so yeah, Gayla is doing a lot of one-on-one. Thank you.
Erin?
Hi, yeah, we had a question in the chat from Kelly McHugh. She says, good morning. I work on several grant projects as a sub-award from Diné College, PI Mark Bauer. So nice to meet you all. I'm just getting started on an end of year reporting RPPR for Navajo NARCH partnership. Who could I work with on your team regarding reporting needs?
Okay, that will be myself and my director of sponsor projects, Eva Begay.
Wonderful. Hi, Gayla. I'm Kelly McHugh, and it's really nice to meet you and Eva, and I've heard your names, so it's really nice to just see your faces and hear from you.
Thank you.
And I'm not new to this RPPR process. I have been working on NARCH this is the 6th year, and but you know, there's been some shifts that you might know. Mark has been out a little bit, so would love to be able to connect with somebody. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you.
You can always give us or shoot us an email on that.
That sounds great, Eva. Thank you.
Okay. Well, before we run out of time, I like to get to the software. As you guys can tell, you can't tell I'm shaking, but this is a challenge for me. We've been looking for a new software, and we have 2 interested parties, but we still have a lot of question on it, and I know that we're going to have a demo on it. But one of the things I like to know is what people have on their software, like the system they're using. And what are the challenges? And what's the pros and the cons on them? And just is it already customized for you, or is it configured? And if it's customized, can it integrate with your accounting system? And if it's configured, can we configure it to change to our needs? And if we can have like other people as user in the system, how many people are we able to set up in there? And are we able from the start of the proposal submission, are we able to change however process you do? Like how you first enter the proposal, the name of it, and when we get it approved, if you give it a account number, are we able to do that? Is it, we can edit it to where we have all of what the award paperwork and everything all in one area? And then are we able to get the accounting system to be configured to our software? And if it's in real time, or do we need to upload financial information maybe like once a week, overnight? I'm not sure about all that. And one of the other things is the time and effort. Can a PI go in there and authorize or verify and authorize a time and effort report for people that are on the grants? And then to track cost share match and how they're set up in the software. And does it give notification on reporting when it's due, like the SF-425? And then like the SF-424, how we can edit the reports in there if we are able to. And it just some of the suggestions, I guess, on software you use, because this is all new to us and we are in the process of getting a software. So I've got a lot of questions on that.
I will start by saying that's a pretty loaded question, because each institution uses, various different systems. I know that here at ASU we use electronic research administrative system. We have a PeopleSoft, that's our human resources system, and then we have Workday, which is our financial system. They all kind of connect and talk to each other and those types of things. And there's a lot of data that's also driven in the background. I don't even know all the ins and outs of it. I know that some of it has been altered or updated, home based, and then others, are outsourced. And so I don't know all the inner workings, but I will say my advice, okay, just coming in the door, and you said you were talking to you may have two that you're considering. I'm not sure if you, are you connected with Incure at all? Or have you been to the Incure? Because I know we have a conference coming up, but that's the best way that when I was, before coming to ASU, I would go to the Incure conference. I'd make sure I go to all the exhibitors and have them tell me about all of their different software and see, a lot of it's going to be based on your numbers and based on your, the size of the portfolio and those types of things and how they cost it out. So if you're starting out, with a smaller portfolio, then you want somebody that's going to meet those needs, but also help you as you grow along. That's the best advice. If you have two on the table, that's great. Talk it out with them, but also connect with the exhibitors at Incure or any of the other research administrative based professional organizations. They will come out, they will connect with you, they will share all their information. The one thing that I know that we're still trying to navigate is something that will give us the automatic notification for the RPPRs or the progress reports. We know when they're, when we go in the the kickoff meeting, we look at what the deliverables are, but we have to set up manual ticklers. The PI has to set up ticklers for himself, and we set up ticklers to remind the PI. So I think that's something that still needs to be worked out. And I think that's will be a gift for all of us if we could get that worked out, right? But that's a lot. That's a question I really can't answer because there's so many workings behind the scene. But we do have an electronic research administrative system. And then we have Workday, which we did an integration of that about 5 years ago when I came on board, and that was traumatizing. That's all I can say. I survived. We all survived. So it was very nice that whenever you're trying to do a conversion from one software to another, you're gonna be in for it, right? So just be mindful that it's gonna be a steep learning curve for some, and that it's going to be stressful at the onset, but once you get it in place, it will, I'm sure, will reap all the rewards that you want from it.
Yeah, Lisa,
Thank you.
Lisa, I would add a comment to that if you can hear me. I think size and scope is going to be the key differentiator for even the team at Diné. They're going to have to sort of not be afraid to be somewhat manual about a lot of things for a while until they grow in size and scope. And along with size and scope, of course, is the word service. And so those 3 S's are paramount as you think about technology support for research admin. And I think if you're not afraid to be manual, and you're not afraid to resist the overwhelming nature of technology as it might be delivered to you from these vendors who can sometimes be overwhelming, you're going to be okay. You've got to remember that your portfolio is not that large. Your service to your investigators is first and foremost. You're trying to get the proposals in an efficient way. You're trying to satisfy all the post-award requirements. And sometimes just kind of being old-fashioned about it is a-okay. And it's not necessary to move to a very sophisticated system as you're just starting out and growing your research programs there. So while there's lots of invitations to search around and look around, in fact, from those vendors, it'll be overwhelming to you, even in the setting that Lisa describes of an NCURA or an SRA. It's okay for a while to be a little bit manual, be a little bit over on the service side to make sure that your PIs are cared for first. And sometimes those growth pains can come later, and it's okay not to be afraid to push it off a little bit because it will be an issue of size and scope. The frankness is, if a vendor like a Cayuse on a pre-award side drags your Diné into something, it might be way overwhelming, they may way overcharge, and it may not be giving you any deliverable that's helpful whatsoever on the pre-side or even on a PeopleSoft post-award side. So just more advice there to not be afraid to be slow and old-fashioned for a while as you're continuing to grow, Eva.
That's true.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That is so true. And whatever you decide, don't hesitate to reach back out. You have so many connections now, and before, I'm sure, as you mentioned, collaboration with U of A, but reach out to us if you need feedback after you just, get ready to narrow down on something. But I know that another thing is when I first came into research administration, one of the things I would do all the time is, look at Google and look at predominantly undergraduate research institutions. I was pretty small and in my office, and I found so many tools that way. And I would reach out to those coordinators. I say, do you mind if I, utilize this, and most of them have no issues with it. But there's so many tools out there that's definitely can be utilized in a manual way.
Thank you.
I was also going to give some suggestions. So I kind of fell into research administration here at ASU. And I would encourage, your whole team to find some mentors. Encourage is a great way to do that. But in this space, we have really, like, I know of Lisa because, ASU is ASU and it's so big. Like fantastic people who have been doing this for longer than some of us have been alive, right? So I would encourage you to see who you vibe with in the space to speak and connect with them and learn it that way. Because I think about what Thomas just shared and Lisa shared, like the manual process, so you can figure out exactly what you need for your college versus just buying something out of the box. Because salespeople's goal is to get you to buy something versus not always meeting your needs. But I know here at ASU, they're like the research people across the enterprise. A lot of people are really, really into it and really well versed and really well experienced. And we're all maxed out, task wise, but sometimes getting that mentor and giving them a break to actually help someone coming up. A lot of people are open to that. Like I said, I'm kind of new, but I'm happy to share what I've learned over the last few years during research administration here at ASU. But finding someone that maybe outside of your college to grow with as a professional in research administration would be another suggestion I would have for you all, regardless of your role on your research team at Diné.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate for you guys for all the suggestions. And of course, we'll be reaching out. This is just our first day, so thank you.
Well, I want to thank our presenters today from Diné College, Eva Begay, Andrea Christelle, Gayla James, and Terra Lamotte-Harvey. Thanks for that great presentation, and we're all looking forward to working with you. I want to remind all the attendees that you'll see a survey pop up right after this is finished. Please fill that out. And at the end of the conference, please remember to fill out the conference survey so we can improve your experience going forward. And I just want to wish you all a great conference.
Thank you.
We'll hang on for the last couple of minutes in case anybody has any remaining questions.
I just want to thank everyone for allowing us to use the time this way and for sharing all your insights and advice. It's very helpful. We really appreciate being a part of this community and, all of the support. Thank you.